The tiny house movement has evolved far beyond simple minimalism to embrace romance, beauty, and sophisticated design elements that prove small spaces can be both functional and emotionally fulfilling. In 2025, romantic tiny house designs are capturing hearts with their perfect blend of vintage charm, modern functionality, and delicate floral touches that transform compact living into an intimate lifestyle choice. This emerging trend celebrates the art of thoughtful curation, where every square foot is optimized not just for efficiency, but for creating an atmosphere of love, comfort, and aesthetic pleasure.
Welcome to Rustic Elegance. Let's embark on a journey through the beauty of rustic decor, celebrating the warmth, simplicity, and natural charm of this timeless design.
Romantic Tiny House Designs 2025. Floral accents, vintage modern decor, and open concept living. The new generation of romantic tiny homes demonstrates that size need not determine the depth of character or emotional impact a space can achieve. Through carefully chosen floral accents, vintage modern furniture pieces, and open concept layouts that maximize both space and natural light, these designs prove that small living can be synonymous with beautiful living. The 2025 aesthetic embraces soft color palettes, natural materials, and vintage-inspired details that create homes feeling collected over time rather than designed overnight. As we explore the 5 key design principles defining romantic tiny house living in 2025, you'll discover how to create spaces that feel both intimate and airy, both historically grounded and thoroughly modern. These design approaches offer hope and inspiration for anyone seeking to downsize without sacrificing beauty, comfort, or personal expression. The most meaningful homes are often those where thoughtful design meets intentional living in spaces that celebrate both efficiency and romance with equal dedication. 1. Floral interior accents that bring romance to small spaces. Romantic tiny homes with botanical wall murals and floral fabrics. Transform your compact living space into a romantic sanctuary through the strategic use of oversized botanical wall murals and vintage rose-pattern textiles that create visual warmth and emotional connection throughout your tiny home. Large-scale floral murals work particularly well in tiny houses because they can make small rooms feel more expansive while adding dramatic beauty that serves as living artwork. Consider positioning a delicate cherry blossom mural behind your bed or a vintage botanical print, covering one wall of your living area to create stunning focal points. Layer these bold wall treatments with coordinating floral fabrics in throw pillows, curtains, and upholstery that echo the mural's color palette, while introducing texture and comfort to seating and sleeping areas. The key to success lies in balancing the scale of patterns. Large murals paired with smaller, more delicate fabric prints prevent visual overwhelm, while creating a cohesive romantic atmosphere that makes even the tiniest spaces feel intentionally designed and emotionally satisfying. Soft color palettes with floral-inspired paint trends. Embrace 2025's most romantic paint trends by incorporating nature-inspired hues like blush pinks, creamy corals, sage greens, and muted lavenders that serve as perfect backdrops for floral wallpapers, vintage artwork, and handmade decorative elements. These gentle colors work together to create harmonious environments that promote relaxation and emotional well-being, particularly important in small spaces where color choices have amplified impact. Apply these romantic hues strategically, perhaps sage green on kitchen cabinets, blush pink as an accent wall in the bedroom, or muted lavender in a reading nook, while maintaining enough neutral territory to prevent color overwhelm. Floral decor finds for romantic touches. Create an effortlessly romantic atmosphere in your tiny home through carefully curated floral decorative elements that can be found affordably at thrift shops, flea markets, and handmade boutiques. Hunt for embroidered cushions with delicate flower motifs, pastel floral curtains that filter light beautifully, pressed flower wall art that brings nature indoors, and vintage botanical prints that add historical character. These budget-friendly finds work best when grouped thoughtfully, perhaps a collection of small floral paintings arranged above a vintage writing desk, or embroidered pillows layered on a simple linen sofa to create visual interest. Two, vintage modern decor that feels both charming and chic. Mixing old and new in romantic tiny interiors. Master the art of vintage modern styling by thoughtfully combining antique wooden furniture with sleek contemporary pieces that create timeless elegance while maximizing functionality in your romantic tiny house design. This approach works particularly well in small spaces because it prevents the interior from feeling trapped in any single time period, while ensuring that every piece serves multiple purposes. Perhaps pairing a weathered farmhouse table with modern acrylic chairs that don't visually compete for space, or combining an ornate vintage mirror with clean-lined modern storage solutions that maintain the room's romantic character. The contrast between old and new creates visual interest and personality, while supporting practical tiny house living needs, where furniture must be both beautiful and highly functional. Success lies in maintaining consistent color palettes and proportional relationships between pieces, ensuring that vintage and modern elements complement rather than compete with each other, while creating spaces that feel both historically grounded and thoroughly contemporary. Timeless pieces with soul, furniture that tells a story. Curate your tiny home with heirloom-style furniture pieces that bring character and emotional resonance to your compact spaces. Think clawfoot coffee tables, distressed white armoires, or vintage writing desks that serve both practical and aesthetic purposes. These soul-filled pieces work beautifully in tiny houses because they provide storage, functionality, and visual interest simultaneously, often featuring details like soft textures, weathered finishes, and delicate carvings that evoke nostalgia. When selecting vintage-inspired furniture for tiny spaces, prioritize pieces that serve multiple functions, an antique trunk that provides both storage and coffee table functionality, or weathered shelving that displays books while providing essential storage. Affordable ways to achieve vintage style. Transform ordinary furniture into romantic vintage pieces through budget-friendly DIY techniques that add character and charm without requiring significant financial investment. Start with solid but unremarkable pieces from thrift stores, then apply chalk paint in romantic muted tones like dusty rose, sage green, or cream white, followed by strategic distressing techniques that create authentic-looking wear patterns. Add vintage-inspired hardware like porcelain knobs, crystal pulls, or aged brass handles that instantly elevate the piece's romantic appeal while improving functionality. Three, open concept layouts with romantic flow and natural light. Creating flow in tiny romantic floor plans. Design your tiny home's layout to feel breezy, uncluttered, and emotionally connected by removing unnecessary walls and maintaining clear sightlines that allow natural light and romantic energy to flow freely throughout your compact space. Use area rugs, lighting zones, and furniture arrangements to define different functional areas, such as kitchen, living, and sleeping spaces, without creating physical barriers that would make your tiny house feel cramped or choppy. This approach works particularly well for romantic tiny homes because it allows couples to maintain connection and intimacy while pursuing different activities, whether cooking dinner together, reading in separate corners, or entertaining friends in the main living area. Strategic placement of romantic elements like flowering plants, vintage mirrors, and soft textiles throughout the open space creates visual continuity while defining zones through beauty rather than walls, ensuring that your tiny home feels larger and more luxurious than its actual square footage might suggest. Soft lighting and sheer curtains for romantic vibes. Maximize the romantic atmosphere in your open-concept tiny home by layering natural and artificial lighting sources that create warm, flattering illumination throughout different times of day. Install skylights and large windows where possible to invite abundant natural light. Then dress these openings with sheer curtains, paper lanterns, or gossamer fabric panels that filter harsh sunlight while maintaining privacy. Supplement natural light with warm-toned LED bulbs and vintage-inspired fixtures, string lights draped along ceiling edges, and candles that provide intimate evening ambience without fire safety concerns in your compact space. Furniture placement for maximum space and intimacy. Optimize your tiny home's romantic potential through strategic furniture selection and placement that maintains openness while creating intimate conversation areas and comfortable zones for daily activities. Choose appropriately scaled pieces like compact love seats instead of full-size sofas, round vintage bistro tables that encourage face-to-face dining conversations, and floating shelves that provide storage without consuming precious floor space. Arrange furniture to create natural pathways that feel graceful rather than cramped, perhaps positioning seating at angles that encourage conversation while maintaining views to windows and outdoor spaces. Four, romantic bedroom designs with vintage details and floral touches. Tiny bedrooms with big heart, romantic styling tips. Transform your compact sleeping space into a luxurious romantic retreat through carefully chosen elements that prioritize comfort, beauty, and intimate atmosphere over square footage or conventional bedroom expectations. Layer your bed with lace-trimmed bedding, delicate floral throws, and an abundance of pillows in soft neutral tones like ivory, dusty rose, and pale sage that create a cloud-like nest perfect for rest and romance. Add vintage charm through details like antique brass bed frames, weathered wooden nightstands, or perhaps a vintage vanity table that serves both practical and decorative purposes while contributing to the room's collected over time aesthetic. The key to successful tiny bedroom design lies in creating the feeling of abundance through texture, color, and romantic details rather than attempting to include every piece of furniture found in larger bedrooms, focusing instead on elements that directly contribute to comfort, beauty, and the intimate atmosphere that makes small sleeping spaces feel like private sanctuaries. Vintage-inspired headboards in soft fabrics. Create a stunning focal point in your tiny bedroom through carefully selected headboard options that maximize romantic impact while serving practical purposes in your compact sleeping space. Consider tufted fabric headboards in soft colors, vintage wrought iron frames with delicate scrollwork, or perhaps repurposed vintage doors that add architectural interest while supporting the room's romantic character. Surround your headboard choice with layers of soft fabrics, quilts with romantic patterns, ruffled bed skirts, embroidered pillowcases, and perhaps a vintage chenille bedspread that adds texture and warmth. Simple decor ideas for cozy bedrooms. Achieve maximum romantic impact in your tiny bedroom through strategic decorative choices that add beauty and personality without overwhelming your limited space or creating visual clutter. Create an accent wall behind your bed using delicate floral wallpaper, vintage botanical prints, or perhaps a collection of small framed artwork that adds visual interest without requiring floor space. Add romance through textile choices like soft drapes that can be tied back during the day to maximize natural light, and consider placing a beautiful vintage rug beside your bed that adds color, texture, and comfort. Five. Pastel and earthy color trends for 2025 romantic tiny homes. "2025 color trends for soft, romantic interiors." Embrace this year's most romantic color palette featuring warm whites, dusty pinks, pale mint greens, and soft terracotta that create calming, sophisticated atmospheres perfectly suited to tiny house living, while reflecting broader design trends that emphasize natural beauty and emotional well-being. These carefully chosen hues work together to create spaces that feel both contemporary and timeless, where soft colors support the romantic aesthetic while providing versatile backdrops for vintage furniture, floral patterns, and personal accessories that define your individual style. Apply these trending colors thoughtfully throughout your tiny home. Perhaps warm white as your primary wall color to maximize light and space perception, dusty pink as accent walls or cabinet colors, and pale mint green through textiles and decorative accessories that can be easily changed with seasons or evolving preferences. The beauty of this romantic color palette lies in its ability to make small spaces feel larger and more luxurious, while supporting both practical living needs and emotional comfort in environments designed for intimate, beautiful daily life. How to combine colors in tiny rooms without overcrowding. Master the art of color coordination in compact spaces by selecting one dominant pastel shade as your primary color, then layering complementary earthy tones for visual balance and depth without creating overwhelming complexity. For example, establish pale rose as your dominant color through wall paint or major textile choices. Then introduce natural wood furniture tones and sage green accents through pillows, artwork, or small decorative objects. Use warm neutrals like oatmeal, sand, and cream as your foundation colors for larger surfaces and major furniture pieces, creating a clean yet cozy base that allows your romantic color accents to shine. Paint and fabric tips to match romantic color palettes. Select paint finishes and fabric textures that enhance your romantic color scheme while supporting the practical demands of tiny house living, where surfaces must be both beautiful and easily maintained. Choose soft fabric textures like cotton voile, muslin, and linen in muted floral patterns that add romance without visual weight, ensuring that textiles contribute to the airy, open feeling essential to successful tiny house design. For wall treatments, opt for calming colors with subtle variations rather than high contrast combinations, perhaps using different shades of the same color family to create depth and interest. Conclusion. The romantic tiny house designs emerging in 2025 represent a profound shift in how we understand the relationship between space, beauty, and quality of life, proving that meaningful design transcends square footage when approached with intention and creativity. These carefully curated spaces demonstrate that downsizing need not mean sacrificing romance, comfort, or personal expression. Instead, they show how thoughtful design choices can actually enhance intimacy and emotional connection to our living environments. Through the strategic use of floral accents, vintage modern furnishings, and romantic color palettes, tiny house dwellers are creating homes that feel both luxurious and authentic. The success of these romantic tiny house designs lies in their emphasis on quality over quantity, encouraging homeowners to choose fewer, more meaningful pieces that bring both practical value and emotional satisfaction to daily living experiences. This approach naturally supports sustainable living practices while creating interiors that develop more character and personal significance over time, as vintage treasures and handmade elements acquire additional meaning through years of use. The integration of modern functionality with romantic aesthetics ensures that these homes serve contemporary lifestyle needs while honoring timeless design principles. As the tiny house movement continues to evolve, these romantic design approaches offer hope and inspiration for anyone seeking to create meaningful homes that prioritize relationships and experiences over material accumulation. The 2025 romantic tiny house aesthetic proves that the most fulfilling homes are often those where thoughtful design meets intentional living, where space limitations become opportunities for creativity. Every design choice reflects a commitment to beautiful, sustainable living that honors both environmental responsibility and the human need for spaces that feel like home.